Hello, welcome back to another day, another week of Flow with the Grow podcast. I'm your host, Sophia, and this is a podcast for all things health and wellness, fitness, mental health, like anything under the wellness umbrella. I did a whole lot of more spiritual health-based episodes last 2 months actually, and now I'm transitioning into doing more nutrition-based episodes. So today's gonna be a really quick one. I want it to be super quick. I know you're busy. I know you're on the go. I know that you are probably wanting to meal prep, but it's a challenge. You're wanting it to be easier and all the things. So I'm here to share with you my go-to, our as in me and my girlfriend Kiana, our go-to things for meal prep and to have on hand every week. By the way, last week's episode, if you listen to that, I shared some ways that you can help with with eating more protein. And I missed one that came to mind later on. And that's using cans of tuna, or I know there's packets of tuna if you like the packets of salmon, canned salmon. I think some people think that's gross, but I don't mind it. I love it. Super easy. When I worked at the gym, I was super busy and it was hard for me to meal prep constantly. It was so convenient for me to just bring the tuna packets with me or salmon packets to work. Just rip it off, have a fork or a spoon. I can eat that. It's pretty satiating, but it's protein based, and sometimes I would just throw that in a bowl, mix it up with maybe some mashed avocado, maybe some cucumber tomato, maybe some mustard, and bam, there we go. So it's just a super quick, easy way to also get more protein, whether it's a meal. Actually, that's not really much of a meal, but you could, add other things to that, or as a snack. Also, as you're listening, if you feel like this would be super helpful for anyone on your social media, friends, family, please share this episode with them or put it up on your stories, and you can tag me. You can find me on Instagram at Sophia_Dawn41. That's SOPHIA_DAWN41. And also the podcast Instagram at Flow with the Grow podcast. Okay, let's do this. So a couple things before I get into the specific foods. Number one, make sure that when you are meal prepping, you plan out what you're going to have, the things you're going to get, write your grocery list, and then go to the grocery store versus trying to think of things while you're at the grocery store and not having a plan. You know what they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Is that how it goes? I think so. So that's number one. Number two, bring it back to the basics. I feel like we're always searching for the next fun recipe that's a lot of variety, but will make a big amount for the family that the kids and family will like, and that's totally fine. But like I said, I feel like we're just trying to find all these recipes, whether it's TikTok, Pinterest, Google, and then there's so many, and it's like, I don't know what to do. Like there is a shit ton out there. Like you can find so many different recipes. We've been using Instagram and TikTok even lately when we want to try something new, but really, let's bring it back to the basics. I want to keep it simple, and you can make something that's so basic and seems boring actually have a lot of flavor and variety to it, just depending on different things that you can put on it, and I will explain that in a second. But when I say bring it back to the basics, I mean creating a bowl of a protein, fat, carb, maybe some vegetables in with that as well. What you probably always hear is rice, chicken, and broccoli, or rice, chicken, and asparagus. And yes, over time it can get boring and blah, but it gets the job done. And you can mix it up different ways to make it taste different and add that variety. And not only is it basic and seemingly boring and gets the job done, but it's quick and easy and convenient. So here we go. Number one, protein source. Lately, we've been doing a lot of chicken. It's super easy. You can make a lot of it. It lasts throughout the whole week. We make it either in the air fryer or in the oven. Either way, it's super easy. Just put it in the air fryer, put it in the oven. Usually we'll put olive oil on it and some seasonings with it and put it in, and that's it. So we have a bunch of chicken for the week. In addition to chicken, we also will have fish. Sometimes we do both in the week if I'm feeling like I want maybe some salmon. I air fry some salmon or put it in the oven. I usually just like throwing it in the air fryer. It seems pretty easy, but baking it is just as easy as well. Or tilapia or cod, some sort of fish. The next thing, eggs. Again, super easy. You can hard boil them. You can just quickly throw them in a pan and scramble them up. or make the eggs however you want. You can also, like I said last week, putting chicken in with the eggs, which is actually what I did this morning. So we got the chicken, the fish, the eggs. Another one that we lately have been having on hand is yogurt. So we usually do a Greek yogurt, sometimes vanilla, sometimes plain, sometimes non-fat, sometimes not non-fat. Like we like to change it up. And personally, I like to throw in my chocolate collagen in there if I'm wanting something a little bit sweeter or just something quick, like post-workout. Or if we decide to have chicken tacos in the evening because we made all this chicken, we can have chicken tacos, tortillas, we just keep on hand. Super easy. We make it. Maybe we just need some shredded lettuce and cheese, and we'll get some salsa or just any additional things that you want. But having the tortillas on hand, you just make the chicken tacos, and the yogurt serves, if it's plain, it serves as a great alternative to sour cream. Make a carb. We every single week since we moved in, have been making jasmine rice. We used to cook it with water, but lately we've been doing chicken bone broth. Chicken bone broth adds some nutrients, some protein, and it makes the flavor and texture a bit more enhanced. I love it. It's delicious, and it's also a way to mix it up. The other thing that we sometimes do is have baked, potatoes on hand. So russet potatoes, and we've been having a baked potato in the air fryer. Super delicious. Put some butter and again, yogurt on it, but also sometimes sweet potato. It's also another easy carb source that you can do. Rice, you can make more. You can buy it in bulk and it lasts throughout the whole week, lasts longer. Potatoes, of course, you have to kind of buy maybe week to week, but it's a good source of carbs to have on hand. Next, the vegetables. Frozen vegetables is kind of what we've been doing. So getting some frozen broccoli. They're pretty cheap. They last longer. You can put them in the freezer, buy a few, and I'll cook up some broccoli for the week, or if I'm feeling asparagus, I'll have asparagus. Bake asparagus in the oven again, or the air fryer. So usually having some sort of cooked vegetable to have with the other thing. So like if I make a bowl for my lunch, sometimes Kiana will take hers to work and she'll have it cold. I have it hot. I mean, I think it's fine either way. So I create this bowl of a carb, a protein, and a fat, maybe some vegetables. So rice for my carb, chicken or fish for my protein, and then broccoli or asparagus for my vegetable. And then also and of course fat is also included in with the olive oil and on the chicken or fish. But I like to also throw in some avocado at times. Very delicious. Now the ways to mix this up before I move into other things that we have on hand. Number one, salsa. We always have salsa on hand, and I throw that on in the bowl. Another one is either liquid aminos, so Bragg liquid aminos, or soy sauce. Liquid aminos is an alternative to soy sauce. Whatever you prefer, either or. We've had both in the past, and we usually do have both on hand. And when you put that on, then it kind of turns into like a stir-fry dish bowl. Thirdly, barbecue sauce. I don't know if you know this about me, but I love barbecue sauce. So freaking good. And the kind that we get currently and that I absolutely love, with minimal ingredients and healthier, I would say, versus other barbecues that have, a lot of sugar, high fructose corn syrup. And this one is called Rib Rack Barbecue Sauce. Personally, I love original, but they have a bunch of other different flavors and types as well. So again, I like putting that on my bowl, heating it up, then it's like a barbecue chicken bowl with the rice and the asparagus or broccoli. Fourthly, a teriyaki sauce, which is kind of cool. It definitely mixes it up. It's like a chicken teriyaki dish then. So we have a sesame teriyaki sauce. Not really sure on the brand. It says Culinary Tours, but just another option. We've gotten pineapple rings in the past too to have as that dish for our lunch meal. Fifth is to put whatever seasonings on that particular bowl. So sometimes I like to do Himalayan sea salt. If it's a fish, I have a lemon garlic from Flavor God, or there's a bunch of other different seasonings. Really any seasoning that you want, you can throw it on and it changes it completely. If you like mustard, which I do, you can put the mustard in there. I know that kind of sounds weird, probably gross to some people, but I love it and tastes delicious. Again, mixes it up. Okay, moving on to other things that we keep on hand. Of course, cold brew. I need to start making cold brew for sure, but it's the Busy organic kind cold brew breakfast blend. So I have that on hand. I love to have that in the mornings with my chocolate protein powder. So if another thing that we always have on hand is a protein supplement, a protein powder. And instead of adding a creamer or anything, I just add the chocolate protein, gets some protein, some fat, some carbs, some flavor to my coffee, gets something in my system, especially if I work out in the morning, I can have that before. But I usually like to do that in my morning time. The next thing we have on hand is fruit. We kind of change it up a little bit. Some weeks it's more berries. Lately we've been getting some oranges, something easy. You could do apples, bananas every now and then. Blueberries are easy. Really any kind of berry is pretty easy. So just any fruit source that you want. Also just a little hack, a little tip. If you buy frozen fruit, you can buy more of it in bulk. It's usually more cost effective and lasts longer. So some people love to do that as well. And lastly, I do like to have something that's on the sweet side. So we've been getting sometimes Oreos, which is weird to me because that was like a no food for me. But it's crazy because I can have like one or two and be good instead of restricting myself and then having to like try and not eat the whole box or whatever package of Oreos. So anyways, Oreos, and I don't know, just throughout the week, maybe I'll get some cookie dough or just, I don't really crave that stuff too much anymore, but sometimes it's just nice to have those things on hand for me personally. So quick recap here. And I'm going to also say the meals too that I would have with this stuff. So protein sources, eggs, chicken, fish, yogurt, always having those on hand, always meal prepping those. They last throughout the week. I like to have eggs for my first meal with chicken, and then I'll usually do salsa or maybe liquid aminos or soy sauce, or adding some rice to that even as well. And sometimes even avocado. For meal 2, rice, chicken, broccoli, or asparagus, or maybe a mix of all of that. And then mixing it up in my own way, whether that day I want it to be barbecue chicken based or teriyaki or soy sauce, like a stir fry or salsa. So I mix it up that way. Next is a carb source. Jasmine rice, potatoes of any kind, really. Sweet potato, russet potatoes, and then frozen vegetables, asparagus, broccoli. The other things that we like to have on hand, salsa, barbecue sauce, ketchup. I use Primal Kitchen. Love that brand. Liquid aminos or soy sauce. Easy fruits. Also easy vegetables. Peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers. Maybe that week we decide we want to have more salad meals. So really like if you take anything away from it is to bring it back to the basics and create a bowl of whatever stuff you want to put in it, as long as you focus on a protein, fat, carb, and then lastly having some sort of something that might be a bit sweeter. I don't think I mentioned this, but avocado. I kind of mentioned that, but we also have avocados on hand. And then, as I mentioned before, protein powder. We have oats on hand, and that's pretty much it. And then you're maybe thinking, well, what about dinner meal, like the last meal of the day? Well, you could use anything that's currently meal prepped. Like I said in the beginning, we like to do chicken tacos or just for having any chicken that's left over. Or if you have a bigger family, with kids, you can always do something that is more of like a crock pot style meal, or you throw in the oven a bunch of like roasted vegetables and something just a little bit different from what you're having from the other meal. I do find that most people struggle with more so meal 1 and meal 2, like breakfast and lunch, versus the dinner meal. Like most people, I think, have a good grasp on a dinner meal with the whole family that they make together. Sometimes not. But again, if you do something that's more like a crock pot meal, or utilize anything that has been made for the other meal prep stuff, like your breakfast and lunch, utilize that for your dinner time. But this is a good start. Like having these things on hand is a good start, I think, and for most people. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it brought some new ideas. Also just to validate, like, hey, it's okay if you bring it back to the basics and just keep it plain Jane, and then mix it up by adding your own stuff to it. Add variety by using different seasonings and sauces. And my hope is that it is, again, a good start for you in having meal planning and meal prepping being something that isn't daunting and is convenient and easy and doesn't take a whole lot of time. Like making this stuff, I'll make the chicken in the air fryer or the oven and make the rice at the same time. Those are both cooking. And then making maybe at the same time the frozen vegetables. Like you can do things at the same time and it makes it easy. And then it's there for the week, which is so nice, much nicer for when you have that food on hand, when you on the front end do the work, do the meal prep, get that stuff done ahead of time before the week starts or whatever your schedule is like for your week. If you have any questions around nutrition or any topics that you would like me to cover, or any challenges, like whatever your challenge is around nutrition, I would love to know. You can please email me at flowwiththegrow@gmail.com. Also by sending me a message through social media, anywhere. And I would be happy to put that on my list of topics to talk about for this podcast for the next couple months. As always, thank you so much for listening, for tuning in, for being here with me. I appreciate you. I love you. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.